Our man Freddy Krueger is coming back to the big screen, and 2 days ago it was momentous news for all of us that are Nightmare on Elm Street fans around the world. People that love Freddy Krueger, people that want it to be a red and green sweater. Well, actually, if you read the original script, which is what Paramount bought the rights to, it's not actually a red and green sweater, so crap. I'm just kidding though, of course. Freddy Krueger, Paramount has gotten the rights for the US at least to adapt the original screenplay for A Nightmare on Elm Street under the new label Paramount Primal, which is their label that's supposed to rival, Neon, A24, whatever, which I think is great news. But as for the Nightmare on Elm Street film news, Paramount, of all places, has the film rights. So what does it mean? Here's what it means. It means that we're getting a new movie from Paramount. Paramount is incredibly quick on turnover with these kind of things. They're going to pump it out most likely. It's based on the original screenplay for A Nightmare on Elm Street, so none of the sequels, according to the press release here, are going to be part of this. So it's going to be just that original screenplay. Whether that means it's a remake, a reboot, it doesn't really matter. People online were saying it was going to be a remake or a reboot, and people were yelling back and forth at each other because, well, engagement like that comes with being negative about stuff like this and saying, but it doesn't have to say it's a remake. Well, either they're going to do the original movie or they're going to do a sequel to the original movie, but they can't really do a sequel like that because, yeah, it's confusing. Hopefully they'll clear it up, but the film is in development now, and it's based on the first 1984 film. We're going to get more Freddy Krueger. We're probably not going to get Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. He's older. He doesn't want to, do the action scenes. I know I've talked to Chuck Russell, the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, about if they could get Robert back. And he said in that interview, I've posted that clip on my social media, but he said they could get Robert back. They could find ways to do it, to work around him not doing the action scenes, all of that, so-and-so. Everybody would want Robert back. He is Freddy Krueger. It's kind of like, all the other slashers out there, Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Brad Dourif is Chucky. It's kind of similar to that, where, Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, it's a dude in a mask. Ghostface, it's a person in a mask. But Freddy Krueger is so entwined with Robert Englund and Robert Englund with Freddy Krueger that it's going to be difficult for them to find somebody to do it. And I don't even have a best choice off the top of my head. I know people have been fan casting Kevin Bacon, Richard Brake, Bill Skarsgård, which I don't know about that one, but whoever it is, they're going to have a titanic choice here. It's going to be kind of like Alden Ehrenreich taking over as young Han Solo, except this isn't like, oh, well, it's a younger version of the character. It's going to be the character. It's the part that, I had to think and ruminate on and get off my chest about this, really, is that I'm excited for this because obviously we haven't had a Nightmare on Elm Street movie since the remake. The remake was one of my, first horror memories of sitting in a theater as a teenager watching it and being terrified out of my mind, but being like, wow, the CG looks kind of bad, and it does look bad. But Jackie Earle Haley in that film was a pretty good Freddy Krueger, besides the fact that they covered his face in horrible CGI. So it's kind of a push and pull there with my sort of feeling on this whole thing, is that I want a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie really bad. I've made tons of videos about it. I've made, talked about the series with the 4K box set and the regular 4K box set and all of that. And it's my favorite horror series out there. I love Halloween, I love Friday the 13th, whatever. But Nightmare on Elm Street holds a special place for me. And this news, it kind of came out of nowhere also. It came out on the same day as the Crystal Lake teaser trailer that came out, which was pretty interesting to see, Freddy and Jason going at it once again on the same day here. But the press release, it's a new genre label, Paramount Primal, which, let's just go through what the press release said right here. Jonathan and I are so excited to be partnering with JD Lifshitz. I hope that's how you say his name, Lifshitz. and Rafael Margueles, along with the terrific team they've assembled at Paramount Primal. LaBunca said in a statement, "We look forward to bringing the world of Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street to a new and completely engaged generation of fans. We know that Wes would have been thrilled to see how horror is taking its long overdue place in the cultural canon. We can't wait for all of us to sit together in a dark theater around the campfire of today as the next chapter of the Nightmare story unfolds." That doesn't tell us anything. That just tells us a bunch of, buzzword jargon about, Wes Craven being proud of it, whatever. Wes is and was the master of horror, like the master of masters of horror. John Carpenter's up there too. But Wes Craven, the dude knew how to scare us. The last movie he did in the Nightmare series was A New Nightmare, which reinvented the series. Now, if they're just going to go back and do a reboot or a remake or whatever the hell you want to call it, if they're going to do a requel and bring back Nancy, who knows? But the Nightmare on Elm Street series, part of the allure of the series is that they didn't retread. The second movie in the series is arguably the most divisive in the series because of the changes that it makes and the sort of storyline that it goes through. And then 3, Dream Warriors, is one of the best sequels of all time. And then the sort of 4 and 5 go into, these characters that we know and love that are multifaceted, that are sort of losers or loners or people who are at the outsides of their society. And it's super relevant for being a teenager and watching these movies. It's more than just, pretty people getting hacked to death by a slasher. It's a cultural phenomenon. And so going back and remaking the first movie or rebooting the first movie or doing it, like this formulaic cookie cutter kind of thing that we have with requels and sequels today, I think that's part of the reason why we don't get very many slasher movies. Terrifier is kind of the slasher. We get plenty of, or I'll addend that. We don't get plenty of slasher sequels. We have plenty of slashers out there, but we don't get sequels because of whatever reason. But Terrifier is kind of the only game in town for that, where we don't have icons anymore. And so hopefully the people at Paramount Primal, the people behind this movie, recognize that and go into what makes the series special, what makes it awesome for fans to watch, what makes Freddy interesting as a character, all of that. Because that's really what's the scary part. It's not who they're going to cast as Freddy Krueger. That's scary for the person who's doing it. They're going to crap their pants the first day on set probably. But it's for us fans, the stuff that we can control, or the stuff that, we can pick up on. I'm not at the casting, in the casting room. I don't know who they're going to do for Freddy Krueger, for Nancy, if they're going to bring back Heather Langenkamp. Who knows? But the genesis and the distillation of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, that's the important part. And that's what I'm worried about with this deal. But we'll have to see with Paramount. Paramount has a good track record with horror movies. They have a better track record with sequels to horror movies, Smile 2, all of that. But we'll just have to see. And, Paramount, they're doing that merger with Warner Brothers. It's weird that Warner Brothers or New Line wouldn't try harder to have gotten this, or maybe, Atomic Monster, Blumhouse, whoever. So it's strange that it's going to Paramount, but, that's the reality of the situation here with the Nightmare on Elm Street. So I love this series. What do you think of this news for Nightmare on Elm Street that's coming out? I've had some time to sit on it. I wanted to get, basically all of this off of my chest about this. But yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street's coming back. Freddy Krueger is going to be back on our movie screens. That'll be exciting. It'll probably make a bundle of money. I'll be there the first day that it opens. So what do you think of Nightmare on Elm Street coming back? Are you excited? Do you want to see somebody new as Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund? Who knows? But let me know in the comments. I love talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street and everything. And did you pick up the Nightmare on Elm Street 4K box set as well? Because it went back up and then sold out immediately. So until the next time, defend that physical media faith, and let's hope that Paramount doesn't screw up A Nightmare on Elm Street.